Hello, everybody, and welcome to our awesome, perfect, cool, amazing show out of Cast on Roma Radio.
Outstanding!
A program completely in English talking about everything about movies. I'm Helia, the Bluehead with Julio.
I need a surname now because every time you say Bluehead,
You need a nickname. Yeah, you gotta choose one.
Okay, we'll work on that later. Perfect.
So today we are here to talk to you about a director who sees human beings not as human beings, but as blood bags.
This is beautiful.
Now, tell me,
Okay.
Julio, what do you think? What can you guess? Obviously, you know. I was just
I know what
trying
we're
to
talking.
play. Yeah.
Yeah. We are talking about none other than Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. So love his style or hate it. He has got some, many fans among critics and mainstream audience. So,
But before we had to recall our contacts because
definitely.
we must do it every
and I
time.
always forget about it.
Okay, you can find us on Facebook, writing Roma Radio, and on Twitter as well. On Instagram, if you want to see our faces, and Roma Radio with the 3 as a number. And if you're not already doing it, you can listen to us on the website radio.uniromatri.it or otherwise on the app TuneIn, searching Roma Radio all together with the 3 as a number. Now, you will say?
Yeah, I was saying without any further ado, let's go take a break and then we will come back to talk about Quentin Tarantino.
Okay, let's talk about his early life and career. He was born in Tennessee on the 27th of March 1963. Oh, the same year Doctor Who came on TV. Given the name of Quentin Jerome Tarantino. I can't do it. Every time I see a name starting with J, I'm afraid it's not, for example, Jerome, but Jerome, because of the Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he is for sure a very effective movie maker of today's cinema, starting his career in 1987 with My Best Friend's Birthday, a black and white short film which he directed, wrote and starred in, and in a it was actually never been released.
No, it wasn't officially released.
Oh, okay. And then, as an independent filmmaker, and to be precise, his directorial debut, he wrote, directed, and appeared in a criminal thriller, Reservoir Dogs, in 1992. Now, Reservoir Dogs has a very simple plot. 6 men are hired to rob a huge bank. But something went wrong, and they are forced to run away because of the police being already there, waiting for them. As a backup plan, they have to meet inside
That's tense.
Exactly. Inside a hangar to put the pieces together and understand who framed them.
Yeah, okay, so this is really simple, but it works. And
Exactly.
it's effective. Now, this is Quentin Tarantino's directorial debut, and it was also named as the greatest independent film of all time by Empire, and that's not a small thing.
It's not John Doe talking, it's the Empire. Darth Vader called it.
And that's because the budget was 1.2 to 1.5 million, and that's actually really nothing. But compared to Christopher Nolan's debut, that was actually 6,000. So that was really zero.
It's even less.
But this is also very little. Although moving on, though this genius comes from the movie structure, which is actually a puzzle movie. The main scene is the criminals reaching the hangar, but one by one, and trying to put all pieces together. And you actually don't see the robbing scene, so you are in the dark as much as the characters are in the dark. So you really don't know what has happened. And besides that, the movie shows us all the other pieces, moments showing each criminal in their life while being hired to make the robbing. And despite its fame when it came out, unfortunately, it got only $2.8 million, which is not really that much. And only after Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs gained a huge popularity. So it gained its popularity literally in time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
But
like
on Rotten Tomatoes, has a great rating, score of 91%.
all deserved. There was a year, 2014, if I recall well, in which I used to watch Reservoir Dog once in a month. All that year.
Oh my
I don't know why.
God.
Sometimes I got these crazy ideas into my mind.
We have a huge fan here then. So, heading into 1994 with Pulp Fiction.
I thought you were saying Aladdin. I'm sorry. Bring me the lamp. That was awful. It's terrible. Okay,
Sorry.
moving on.
Moving on to...
Oh,
It
Christ.
was a bit hideous. Sorry. Moving on to 1994 with Pulp Fiction. Oh, Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta walk into a bar.
No, it's not a joke.
No, not a joke. Don't laugh. It's not a joke. No, it sounds like
You
one.
laughed, but okay.
But this is literally the scene from Pulp Fiction, a movie depicting chronologically out of order. More stories having criminals and as main characters, just like Reservoir Dogs. It's a puzzle movie again. When you reach the end, you think, what happened? What? But then in your head, you put the scenes all together, and then it works out, and you know, oh, okay. But Pulp Fiction won the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival, and holds a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 79 reviews. So it's out.
Yeah, very good.
Outstanding.
Very good.
Yeah.
The miracle of Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction is how, being composed of second-hand, debased parts, it succeeded in gleaming like something new, wrote Entertainment Weekly. There's a story saying that every clock in the movie was set at the same time. I don't know who invented this story,
There
but
are theories that there are many people talking about theories in the movie, some scenes, etc. Blah blah.
the only theory,
But we don't know.
the only theory I accept is what's inside the Marcellus Wallace briefcase.
Oh,
Someone
there-
says that there is a Marcellus Wallace soul. Somebody says something else.
That's interesting.
Yes, because
Yeah.
they link to the other movie From Dusk Till Dawn,
Oh yeah.
which there were vampires which sucked out from behind the neck. And if you notice,
Blood bag.
Marcellus. Sorry. Marcellus Wallace had a wound on his neck.
Oh yeah.
So somebody put the pieces
Too
together.
complicated. Too
Too
complicated.
complicated.
Just move on. Move on. Welcome back to Out of Cast, your program completely in English and a perfect program to improve your knowledge about cinema.
Yeah. Okay, nice intro. I like it. I really
Thanks.
like it. Very short.
You're
We are
welcome.
talking about Quentin Tarantino's career, his movies, and early life, and we are having fun. Actually.
And seeing human beings as blood bags.
That meme is too nice. I love it. I adore it.
It's just so funny and the joke never gets old.
Okay.
So, Kill Bill.
Well, also
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez.
Oh yes.
Yes, definitely. Okay,
Yeah.
get back to the movies now.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
Both together because, as Tarantino has said himself, the movie was actually about to be one. It was 4 hours, so they cut it in two.
Yeah, because the Motion Pictures Association of America doesn't allow more than 2 hours or 2 hours and 30.
But there are actually movies in
And now.
Yeah,
And
there are recent
and
movies.
they say not Infinity War Part 2. Endgame could last 3 hours.
Yes.
I would like it.
Please don't talk more about that because we might be dusted.
Okay. Okay, back to Kill Bill. It stars Uma Thurman as the bride, who swears revenge on a team of assassins, Lucy Liu, Michael Madsen, Daryl Hannah, and their leader, Bill, after they try to kill her and her unborn child. Her journey takes her to Japan, where she battles the Tokyo Yakuza.
Now, Tarantino conceived Kill Bill as homage to grindhouse cinema, including martial arts films, samurai cinema, blaxploitation. Again, I think this is a thing that he likes so much, and spaghetti westerns. It features an anime also sequence.
Yes, it does.
Yes. Animated bar production IG. It is the first. Actually, we're talking about the first part, and which came 2003, and but as we said, it was a single production movie. So,
Just like Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3.
Really? I didn't know that.
The shots were continuously, so they directed a film after the other. That's why, because the Dead Man's Chest came out on what was it, November or October, and the third one came out
I know,
on
because
July.
the second one came in 2006. The third
in
one
2007.
2007. Okay.
Precisely.
Now, the first one grossed over $100 million at box office, which is pretty well.
Yeah, not bad. But Kill Bill Volume 2 was released on April 16, 2004. Quentin Tarantino's sprawling homage to action films of both of the East and West reaches its conclusion in this continuation of 2003 ultra-violent Kill Bill Volume 1. The bride continues in Kill Bill 2 on her deadly pursuit of her former partner in the deadly Viper assassination squad.
It's actually the same story, so
yeah, basically that's the same story. But she flashes back to the day of her deadly wedding, and we learn of how she was recruited to join the Divas, her training under unforgiven martial artist
Pai Mei.
I'm sorry, and her relationship with the squad leader Bill.
So okay, that's it. No, we won't say anymore.
No, don't spoil. Don't spoil the movie.
it. Yeah. All right, moving on to 2007 with Death Proof.
Death Proof. It is a 2007.
Not again a Aladdin joke again.
I can come out with
Good
another
fortune.
joke.
Good. Let's move on.
Death Proof is a 2007 American exploitation horror film, directed and written by Quentin Tarantino. It stars Kurt Russell as a stuntman who murders young women who stage. Sorry. So okay, he kills young women in staged car accidents using his using his death-proof stunt car. The film pays homage to the slasher exploitation and muscle car films of the 1970s. Sorry, I just imagine Lightning McQueen of car with his biceps.
Actually, I gotta confess, the car really looks cool.
Well, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Mad Max.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on.
Now, Death Proof was released theatrically in United States, part of a double feature film with Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror.
I love it.
Under the collective title Grindhouse, to recreate the experience of viewing exploitation film double features in a grindhouse theater. Interesting.
Technically, in Grindhouse Planet Terror, there are actually, because many fake trailers made by different directors, also by Rob Zombie. And there, in Grindhouse Planet Terror, there is the fake trailer of Machete. And from that came the idea of the movie.
Interesting point. Thanks.
Okay, I'll bring
As
it.
we said, this is a program to improve your knowledge about cinema.
Okay.
Now, the film was in the main competition for the Palme d'Or at the 2007 Cannes Film Festival.
Was.
Was.
The story for Death Proof developed from Quentin Tarantino's fascination for the wave stuntman with death-proof stunt cars so a driver could survive horrific high-speed crashes and collisions. This inspired Tarantino to create a slasher film featuring a deranged stuntman who stalks and murders sexy young women. Why are there always sexy young women in Tarantino and Rodriguez movies? And,
Please move on.
Okay.
Please. Now, Tarantino attempted to cast John Travolta, Willem Dafoe, John Malkovich, Mickey Rourke.
Well, Mickey Rourke would have been good. Okay.
Yeah, agree. Ron Perlman, Bruce Willis, Cal Penn, and Sylvester Stallone in Death Proof, but none were able to work due to prior commitments. And overall, not a bad movie, having 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, moving on to 2009 with Inglourious Basterds. The name might be a bit off.
Well, that's because it is Bastards, not Bastard.
Yes, I know yeah.
And it is basically the same reason for American Hustle, because in the movie it cannot contain bad words. So.
Now, the movie begins with a breathtaking yet brutal scene with one of the greatest villains you can think of.
Jafar.
Come on. Please let it go. Let this thing go. Please. I know it's bad. It could have been better, but this is what we've got now, and we gotta stick to it. And maybe when the movie comes out, it might actually be good. Let's hope, for God's sake.
Bring me the lamp. Aladdin. Okay, moving on to Inglourious Basterds.
I'm talking about one of the greatest villains and one of the greatest opening scenes to introduce this villain, Nazi Colonel Hans Landa, played by amazing Christoph Waltz. Now, Shoshana Dreyfus witnesses the execution of her family at the hand of Nazi Colonel, and then she escapes to Paris, where she forges a new identity as the owner and operator of cinema. Now, the film tells the alternate story of two plots of assassinate Nazi Germany's leadership. I mean, how cool is that, to kill Hitler in the movie and change the history? It sounds
It's out
cool.
of mind. It's beautiful.
One of these plots is planned by Shoshana, played by Melanie Laurent, a young French Jewish cinema proprietor, and the other by a team of Jewish American soldiers led by First Lieutenant Aldo Rain, played by Brad Pitt. Now, the film's title was inspired by Italian director Enzo G. Castellari. Yeah, macaroni combat film, The Inglourious Basterds, made in 1978. Oh, this part was...
I haven't watched it in original. I watched it in Italian when it came out, but I don't know the scene where Brad Pitt tries to speak Italian, because
it's hilarious. It's beautiful yet hilarious.
Because I hear everybody making fun of it, mocking it.
Because it's funny.
Okay.
But it meant to be funny.
Okay. Buongiorno. Okay. And Castellari's macaroni combat. The plot
is pretty interesting.
Yeah, because it is a dark comedy that plays with history and changes it. Well, much like Inglourious Basterds. There are interesting scenes and characters, which are the reason that this movie has a score of 88 on Rotten Tomatoes, grossed over 331 million worldwide. Also, the movie was successful in many ways. He won awards, including Cannes, the Oscar, etc., etc.
Yes.
Received 8 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay. For his role as Landa, Waltz won the Cannes Film Festival Best Actor Award, as well
Well
as
deserved.
BAFTA.
Well deserved.
Well deserved, of course, as well as the BAFTA, Screen Actors Guild, Golden Globe, and Academy Award for Best Supporting Role. You know who else is winning so many prizes today? Olivia Colman for The Favorite.
Oh yes, I know. Everything is going really well for that movie.
I really root for her at the Oscar.
Yeah, well, very well deserved. Oh, okay. Now, Tarantino wrote the script in 1998, but struggled with the ending, so he chose instead to direct the 2-part film Kill Bill. And after directing Death Proof in 2007, he returned to work on this movie. Now, a fun fact here is that did you know that Samuel L. Jackson in this movie is uncredited as the narrator? Yeah.
I didn't know.
So now you know, and hands down, this is one of the best movies of Tarantino. Now, Django Unchained coming out in 2012. Now, this is my favorite Tarantino movie. But of course, after that comes Inglourious Basterds for me. It's second. But this is my favorite. Set in Old West and antebellum South. It is a highly stylized tribute to spaghetti westerns. In particular, the 1966 Italian film Django by Sergio Corbucci, whose star Franco Nero has a cameo appearance.
Yeah, it is. In scene in Candyland, where Django has a drink, this cowboy comes near and says, "What's your name?" Django. The G is mute. I know. Because he was Django in the original.
Yes, I remember the scene, yeah.
The plot is pretty straightforward, because it is set in the South 2 years before the Civil War. Django is a slave whose brutal history with his former owners lands him face to face with German-born bounty hunter Dr. King Schultz, played again amazingly.
One of the greatest characters I've seen in recent years.
It's incredible, the idea of a German bounty hunter, which is not a racist. It's beautiful.
Yes, and again played amazingly by Christoph Waltz.
Schultz is on the trail of the murderous Brittle brothers, and only Django can lead him to his bounty. Django has only one goal: finding and rescuing Brumilda, played by Kerry Washington, the wife he lost to save the slave trade long ago. Django and Schultz search ultimately leads them to Calvin Candy, Leonardo DiCaprio, exploring the compound under false pretenses. Django and Schultz arouse the suspicion of Stephen, Samuel Jackson. It is too hilarious in this movie.
Wow.
Ken is trusted as a slave.
Each of these characters in this movie have really something important to say and to portray. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson's character, even Leo DiCaprio's character is really important. And for God's sake, he cut his hand with that glass in that scene.
Yeah.
So it's definite. This movie is worth where the actor is bleeding, really, literally. Okay, so
and you didn't give him the Oscar.
God damn it!
No. Let's admit it.
Yeah.
It was a hard choice because both Christoph Waltz and Leonardo DiCaprio were extremely
and they were
good.
both for supporting role.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now, what makes this movie my favorite Tarantino movie is the direction that he takes with the genre. What I mean is that this is a Western showcasing slavery, but masterfully and very touching, with usual brutal scenes with so much blood. Again, seeing humans as blood bags, showing and mocking the uncivilized Americans. Sorry, but if you go deep enough, this is what you see. while they think they're civilized, against the Europe's people, which in this case is Schultz. Now, how does he mocks that? Schultz speaks English, although he's German, even better than the Americans, with the words, special words he uses. And he actually doesn't believe in slavery.
No, it's too hilarious when he speaks French and Samuel L. Jackson said, what did he say?
Yes, exactly. He knows many languages, and also some scenes with blood. For example, that scene in the field where blood is splashed on cotton. It's just so beautiful and so chilling to watch. It's like the blood is used as a color, and the cotton or the scene is the canvas.
It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
In the end, this movie did really well.
Now, The Hateful Eight, coming out in 2015. Well, now, this is what happens when you put in blender Reservoir Dogs, The Thing, Django Unchained, and Ennio Morricone.
You have to put himself into the blender, Ennio Morricone himself.
Okay. Don't imagine it. It's quite terrible.
No.
Yeah. The plot is kind of simple. Eight strangers are stuck in a hostel because of a snowstorm. All seems fine, but then secrets and sinister subplots come out, and the situation gets worse. Although being a Western, Tarantino mixed it with a thriller, much like science fiction that can be mixed with other genres. I mean, nowadays it's pretty common. But the movie earned a total of $151.9 million and has 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good. Now,
back in 2013, the movie was announced only to get cancelled shortly after because the script ended online on the web. Tarantino then rewrote it and the shooting began in December 2014. You know, I don't remember actually the whole situation because I recall the news Quentin Tarantino cancelled this movie because of the script being published on the web. But, for example, I never had the chance to actually talk with somebody who read the script.
I think the same thing happened to season 8 of Game of Thrones. Like, the script hasn't come out yet. Like, and everyone's like, oh my god, the script has leaked out. It's on the internet. It's everywhere. And even many of my friends read it. And they said it's terrible. I don't know, but but I don't know whether it was true that the real script was leaked out, or no, it was a fake script.
Well, okay. The movie, Hateful Eight, also met boycotting by many police associations in the US because of statement Tarantino did at Black Lives Matter against police brutality in America.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry.
It's okay, but it was a strong movement. But whenever I think about it, it wasn't a bad thing that Tarantino did talk about it. I really don't know why police in America got offended by it. Have you seen their attitude against African American people?
Because, you know, when somebody shows a true, well, not true, but hidden aspect of your personality, you get mad. So basically, they get mad at Tarantino.
Well, it depends if it's in a good way or bad way. This was not a bad way. He was with the movement of Black Lives Matter, which is a good movement.
They just felt uncomfortable and said, no, this guy had to take him out. He has a new movie. Okay, let's boycott him. Okay, let's move. Okay. This also unleashed the New York Post Journal, which called The Hateful Eight a box office disaster. And the police officers who boycotted the movie are taking credits. Although the movie wasn't a flop at all. Oh,
It didn't end up being a flop. So please, if you're listening right now, or if you will in the future listening to the podcast or watching the video, don't get offended. We're just saying it wasn't what Quentin Tarantino said wasn't that bad to get offended by. No, at all. We're at the end talking about
Aladdin.
one. Please stop it.
I'm sorry.
We're at the finishing point, and you're
should
not
be-
done with the joke.
You should be glad of this because I won't torture you again. Okay,
You're
no.
doing the same, but metaphorically, not literally. The thing that Tarantino does with its characters.
With blood.
With
bags?
blood.
Okay.
Okay. Now, one thing that we can say for sure is that Tarantino just gets better in time with his movie making. This is at least what I believe. His recent movies are very much better. And of course, we have not forgot about his controversial upcoming movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, yeah. With a star-studded cast including Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, and Al Pacino.
This will be a very controversial movie. I'm sure of this because
Yeah, especially because of its release date, because it's exactly the release date is on the anniversary of the
Sharon Tate's murder.
The assassinations of the Mason family that has done. It's on that date. So
ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. Okay, well,
it is controversial.
well, we'll wait and see. Well,
But the theme really works for Tarantino. Bloodbath, blood bags.
young women, assassination, lots of dead wives.
But
No.
but even the story, it's really haunting.
Yeah, the Manson family had not a brilliant past, very nice story.
It's bizarre, although choosing this story and also the release date, such a
Yes.
release date.
Yes, we'll wait and see. This was also meant to be Tarantino's last movie, but
Yeah,
if you recall, also The Hateful Eight was supposed to be.
Yes.
It's very...
Yeah.
I'll make the last one. No, I'll make a last one.
No,
And then,
I make
"No, I'll
another one." Yeah, I think I'm just getting better. So can you give me another bigger budget so I will come up with a better film?
I'll just wait till he does a proper sci-fi movie. Because he was... I don't know if you follow the community or something. He agreed to direct a Star Trek movie.
Yes. I saw it on the internet. Yeah.
I hope it comes out.
And he wanted it to be R-rated.
Yes, I would love to see it.
Just in case, if you don't know what R-rated movie is, it's the rating of a movie for ages 17.
R stands for restricted.
More than 17 years old, because the movie is full of swearings and bloodshed and sex scenes and nudity and all those stuff. Below that, it's PG-13, which and PG and G, I guess.
Parental guidance.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. Before
Yeah.
we say goodbye, we have to recall our contacts as usual. So you can find us on Facebook at Roma 3 Radio with the 3 as number, the Roma 3 Radio on Twitter with the 3 as letters. You can find us on Instagram where you can see our pretty little faces. And if you aren't already doing this, you can listen to us at radio.uniroma3.it or otherwise on the application Roma 3 Radio. No, the application is not Roma 3 Radio.
The application is
TuneIn Radio, where you can find us on Roma 3 Radio with the 3 as number.
We're done with Quentin Tarantino. I hope you enjoyed our show today. And please stick with us next Wednesday.
Yeah, always
Yeah.
at the same time,
Oh,
3 to 4. No.
And yeah, we're done. And thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.
Voila!